time for another American Horror Story Cult Neighbors from Hell. Like I said last episode, I thought it left out in a good cliffhanger. I know no hiding from the fact that I think this season's a little weird. I'm not really too much invested in the season, honestly, for a lot of the politics that's going on, a lot of the racism, or dealing with racism in here as well. I mean, I get it. I get what Ryan Murphy's doing. So I wanted to see where we go from that cliffhanger to into this episode's Neighbors from Hell. And it's still a little bit more, not as much of the politics, but more of the racism issue and more of the phobia issue. I appreciate, the phobia, talking about the phobias in this episode and this go around. And it's interesting, it's interesting how racism plays, or the race plays in this episode, especially with at the end. No, if you haven't seen the last episode, it's at the end of the last episode. Sarah Paulson shoots one of her workers, Pedro, and they're calling it self-defense while everybody else is saying that's bullshit, that Pedro gets no justice. And that's where this episode really holds on to. It holds on. We do see a lot of the killer clowns in here. Well, not a lot, but we see the killer clowns. You see a lot of murders going on. You see some stuff in this episode where you're just wondering what this is all about. And that's the problem with this episode. It's really like, what the hell is going on here? But what really got me was the effects used in this episode. It really felt like there wasn't a budget in here, because a lot of the news coverage really felt so fake, so phony. Some of the acting is, at most part, it's good, but some of the acting really comes off as an old school kind of Norman Bates kind of psycho kind of thing going on here. What I did enjoy, though, was a lot of the tension that was going all over the neighborhood. The publicity going on into Sarah Paulson's character, the strain of Sarah Paulson and Ivy in the episode, and dealing with Ozzy. But there's a lot of issues in here where I'm like, this kid reminds me so much of Carl, the early Carl in The Walking Dead, where it's just so annoying. And I'm just wondering, like, why? I wanted to smack the hell out of this kid, honestly. The horror aspect of this series, of the season, is not her gore or anything like that. Yes, you get some killings here and there. Yes, you get some phobia, dealing with phobia, clowns and all that stuff. But it is really layered with a lot of thickness towards the politics of things, the dealing of racism in America, especially immigrants. I mean, it's laying on thick with that. Thick. It's really Ryan Murphy telling you his thoughts on everything that has been going on and the true horror of what the world and society is starting to become. Yet in this season, it's so played off so comically. Like, I don't know whether to take this seriously, and most of the time I don't take this seriously. This episode is another case where, even though some crazy things are happening, I don't take it seriously, honestly, and I don't really care. And I think some people are either turned on by this or turned off by this. This season overall, some good things here and there, and some great designs, costumes, acting. But I feel like the execution is still not there. The execution, what he's trying to convey, what he's kind of trying to present, I don't feel is there. A lot of people are saying this is maybe a tie-in to Asylum, and I can see that too. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I don't think we're going to get these questions answered until the very end. And there's a lot of predictability. I might be wrong on this, but I feel like the opening of this episode, it's like, well, you're involved. That's how I felt like. But overall, American Horror Story called Neighbors from Hell, it was fine. It was another okay episode. There is still characters like Sarah Paulson where she's crying and whining. She's whining a lot. It seems like maybe she'll turn a leaf towards these upcoming episodes. But then but you kind of feel for her wife Ivy, and you get why she's so annoyed by her and what's going on throughout Sarah Paulson's character's life. But you're still kind of scratching your head on certain characters interacting with certain characters in this episode. So overall, it was okay. I'm not a big fan of the season, honestly. I think it's the weakest of among them so far, but you never know. It might be a slow start and it might be a kick-ass middle and kick-ass ending. We'll see. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. The Two Geeks Review have a lot more content on the way. Like the video, like it, and comment below. Till next time, guys. See you guys later.